Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Dynasty After Dark, and this is the first episode with the new layout. So if you're on YouTube, you're seeing this right now. Before I get into anything, I just wanted to show off our new YouTube first time, and it is looking good. I gotta give props to my wife. She's the one that
Ah,
put this one together. If you are audio only, please come over to the Dynasty After Dark YouTube channel and check out the new podcast layout. We're changing things up around here. I got a professional on the thumbnails now. I got a professional making our sets for us and making it look good. So, got to give a big shout out to the wife for that. I'm your host, Calvin Timms. You find me over on Twitter at TDC_Calvin. Co-host is Dale. Find him on Twitter at Dynasty_Dale. How's it going today, Dale?
hey, I am doing good. I am feeling glad to be back and feeling extra spicy today.
Yeah. So Dale's alluded to it quickly before we get into today, what we're going to be talking about. How you feel about the new set? I showed it around to you earlier.
Oh, I am loving it. I'm very excited about it, and I think it's going to take us to a new level. I hope.
Yeah, we'll see. We will see. Now we just need to get a new intro song that's not copyrighted that gets us just absolutely
Oh,
wrecked by YouTube. But yeah, well, that's the next step. That's the next step. So yeah, today, like Dale mentioned earlier, we are going to be talking about some spicy off-season hot takes that we have for this upcoming season. And these are, dynasty takes, but also some redraft in there as well. You can use it however you choose to use it. But no, we're having a little bit of fun. And then, yeah, just a reminder here at the end of the month in July, every day in the month of July, we are going to be releasing a video on an NFL team, recapping all the offseason changes that they've made, coaching staff, players, new rookies that they've added in the draft, players that have left, coaches that have left, and just giving a full summation of every single team and giving some thoughts on the players for Dynasty and redraft as well. Just kind of talking through all of that every single day in the month of July. And we're going to try and keep it pretty condensed down to about 15 minutes, so it's not going to be overwhelming at all. So let us know if you're excited about that in the comments down below. Again, if you're on the audio only version, please come check out the YouTube channel. We're putting a lot of effort into it, making it look good. So we're trying to do this for you guys out there. So let us know, hit us up. We love to hear back from you guys, and yeah, we love your guys' love. So that said, today we're going through the spicy off-season takes. We've got, if you saw the thumbnail, we've got the mild, the one pepper takes. We've got the spicy two pepper takes, and then the ultra hot, the three pepper takes, and that's like the ghost pepper, Carolina Reaper, whatever. Those
ugh.
are going to be the spicy ones. So yeah, I'm excited. Dale, any last thoughts here?
I am ready to get down and dirty with the spice, man. So let's go.
All right, so let me hear your what is it? A banana pepper or jalapeno? What are we calling this one
I
star?
would I would probably say like a nice jalapeno.
All
Like it
right,
has like a
nice.
little spice, but it's not like overwhelming.
Yeah, we gotta make sure it's a fresh jalapeno. Those are a little bit hotter,
Yes.
you know what I mean, before they can kind of
That
degrade down a little bit. So, what's your
right.
jalapeno take for this offseason?
Alrighty, so my jalapeno take is going to be my boy J.K. Dobbins is going to be a running back one this year,
All right.
and I'm not saying that he's going to be the running back one because I feel that would be up in the spicy meter, um
Mhm.
but but with that, like I feel that he is on the trajectory to have a very good season. In his rookie year in 2020, he finished as in PPR leagues. He finished as running back 23, and that was in a Greg Roman offense where a lot of running, not a lot of catching, and he was still going at like 6 yards a carry.
Yep.
Unfortunately, in 21, he had that horrific knee injury, and he came back last year, and he definitely wasn't the same horse he was before.
Right.
So 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 with like a revamped offense, I think he is a very capable pass catching back. You know, I did see shades of that when he was in Ohio State, many years ago. And I think that I think the Todd Monken offense is really going to set him up for success.
Hmm.
And I think he's just going to bully people around. he's just rejuvenated, and I think he's still going to run at a 6 yard clip, pretty close.
Right.
And I really wouldn't be shocked if he had double digit. So
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely so the reason why there's going to be people out there saying, "Oh, that's not a spicy take at all." He's
I know.
definitely going to be a top 12 guy, but here's the negatives for this argument, right?
Mm,
And that's why I like Dale's projection here, prediction. You have Lamar Jackson as your quarterback. First off, anytime
Yep.
that he's in danger, most quarterbacks who are pass first, when they're in danger, they dump it off to the tight end, to the running back, to the slot wide receiver, one of those guys that are short that, they can just get him out of trouble there. Lamar Jackson, if he's in trouble, he's just going to take off and he is going to escape that pressure and just run for 1,000 yards, right?
Yep.
So there's that little piece of it there. That's why J.K. Dobbins isn't utilized heavily in the passing game there. And then you also have a running quarterback that near the goal line, he's going to vulture a lot. In his rookie year, J.K. had 9 touchdowns, but last year only 2. And I predict that that's going to go back up to 6, 7, 8, somewhere in that
Yep.
range. But no, it's definitely it's not as easy of a path as a lot of people out there probably think. So I do like this, and I'm hoping so as well. I like J.K. Dobbins quite a bit. So if he can get to that lower top 12, that'd be really impressive. So I like it. All right, so my 1 star spice, my jalapeno take here, and this one, it's like the J.K. Dobbins one. People are gonna call me crazy. Oh, why are you thinking this? But it's going to be that Trey Lance is going to be the starter for the San Francisco 49ers this entire season. And the reason why I'm bringing this up now is because this week, actually, in ADP, Brock Purdy has now flip flopped with Trey Lance. Brock Purdy is actually officially going ahead of Trey Lance on the ADP charts out there. And, Trey Lance is still he's a young, raw quarterback. We've always known this. And I think that, you have the offseason story that he was working with Patrick Mahomes, trainer. He's improved his footwork quite a bit. There's still the occasional video that circulates on Twitter of one bad random throw. Who cares, man? Who cares? If his footwork's better, it's going to take a little bit of time before you're going to be able to see that in a game. But if Trey Lance can put it together, this dude is one of the best talents out there. And, Brock Purdy's not even throwing yet, and we're already getting close to July. So we're running out
Hmm.
of time that Brock Purdy's even going to be able to get strength back on that arm by the start of the season. So Trey Lance, all the reports are he's taking all the first team reps. They traded an absolute fortune for him to go up to 3 to get him a couple years ago. And he has done nothing to prove that he's not the guy except get injured. That's not his fault. It is not his fault that he broke his ankle. So I think Trey Lance is going to prove enough this offseason that he's going to be the starter for the San Francisco 49ers. He's going to take that job away from Brock Purdy, and he's going to hang on to it this entire year.
Yeah, I do love that, and I do feel that does have a little spice to it because people are really in love with Brock Purdy. Like I feel that George Kittle is in love with Brock Purdy.
Yeah, I can see
You
why.
know, it's yeah. I understand why, but I think it's interesting that Purdy is going ahead of Lance. I see it, but I'm very fearful of Purdy's injury. Like, like he basically got Tommy John surgery, like
Right.
in baseball terms. So
Yep.
it's going to take him a little bit to rehab it and to have the arm feel normal again. So
Sure.
y- you know, but like going off of last year, like it was Purdy's team to lose, and that's kind of how it's been feeling all this off season. That it's just Purdy's team to lose, and he's going to go in as a starting quarterback, and he's going to ride off into the sunset. But
Right.
and I I am with you, and I I would not be surprised if Trey Lance is a starter, and if he is good, he's going to have a stranglehold.
Sure. Sure.
So
Yeah, so we'll see. Again, like the J.K. Dobbins one, there's going to be people that are with us on this and
yeah,
believe that Trey Lance is still the guy. Kind of a
yep.
50-50. You either think it's Purdy or you think it's Lance right now. So, a little bit of a spice, but it's not a guarantee at any by no means is it a guarantee yet. So, all right, what is your mango habanero take here as we continue up this spice level?
Alrighty. So as my mango habanero, I have rookie out of New Orleans, Kendre Miller is going to eclipse the 1,400 yard mark, and he's going to supplant. Uh, he's going to make himself the running back one in that offense over Alvin Kamara and Jamal. And I think Miller is a very exceptional talent. Like he actually beat out Zach Evans at TCU and made Zach Evans transfer to Ole Miss.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yep,
so like there are people that forget that, and then before Miller's injury, like Miller had an injury in one of the games of like the college football playoff games against Michigan. Like he had a right MCL sprain that kind of took him out all of the combine, pro day, and stuff like that. So like a lot
yep,
of people didn't really get to see him a lot up close, which which really I feel really hurt his draft stock.
yeah,
And
agreed.
I feel yeah, and I feel with that offensive line is pretty good down there in New Orleans, and he has Derek Carr, which is very running back friendly quarterback
Mm-hmm.
because he really helped Josh Jacobs kind of emerge as a pass catching back
Right.
in the past few years over in Oakland and Vegas. So, you know, actually funny enough, like Miller had about 1,400 yards in his last season last year. So, I don't think it would be out of sorts for him to really get close to that number, probably going for 850, 900 yards, on the ground and then catching up with that, in the passing game, which I feel he very, very well could do. And I feel that's very much within his means.
Sure.
And I am extremely excited about that.
Yeah. And again, 1,400 for him is a big number, right?
Yes, it is.
It's
Yes.
not crazy
No.
if he's the primary back, but Alvin Kamara still hasn't been announced with the suspension,
Mhm.
and he's still a good player. He's not utilized as much, but like you said, the one thing we know about Derek Carr is he loves to dump it off at the line of scrimmage. He's one of the shortest yards per attempt in his passing attempts
Mhm.
out there as a starting quarterback. So
Yes.
it's definitely possible that if Kamara is healthy, you would think that he's a better pass catcher. But again, Kendre Miller, I think, is underrated in his passing. And like you
He's
mentioned,
very underrated.
yeah, he did not have that chance to showcase it, and he still went in the top 3 rounds. He still went as a day two back, and I do think that he's going to show a lot this upcoming season. So I like
Right.
that. I like it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And along with that, like there's a lot of people that really love Jamal Williams and what he did in Detroit last year, but
Hmm.
there's no way that he's going to do that again.
No, I
There is
mean,
there is no way he's gonna have that touchdown,
right.
and
How many of those
and I
touchdowns
feel
were 5 yards or
one
under?
yarders.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
was
was probably
crazy.
I think like 70 something percent of those touchdowns he
I was
had
gonna say I
were
thought it was like 12 of them
it
were
it
five
was
yards or
it
under.
was it was ridiculous.
Hmm.
Like how many short yards touchdowns he had, which I do expect him to have some, but I think
Oh
Kendrick
yeah,
Miller is
definitely.
is a good enough running back to be in there in those goal line situations, and kind of vulture some of those touchdowns from Williams.
Yeah, and I'm with you right there, 100%. Kendre Miller, I think, is going to show off this upcoming season. Now, my mango habanero take here is this player's not going to show off this season, and he's actually not going to finish as a top 12 running back this upcoming year, even though he's being drafted very highly right now. And that is Ramondre Stevenson, running back for my New England Patriots. And here's the thing. Ramondre Stevenson last year finished as RB number 7 in PPR leagues.
Ow.
Yeah, how indeed, right? 210 rushing attempts for 1,000 yards. Great. 4.95. He's a very efficient runner on the ground. He kind of chunks off big plays. Ramondre Stevenson is a very, very good player. Don't get me wrong here when I'm starting to critique him. But here's the thing. Last year, he had 88 targets and 69 catches for 421 yards. That offense last year was horrendous. They did not utilize the receivers at all. Bill O'Brien is coming in, and they have basically, tried to revamp this receiving core. They brought in Juju Smith-Schuster to be the number one slot receiver for the team. Still have Devontae Parker, Kendrick Bourne, Tyquan Thornton. It's not a great receiving core, but it's good enough. They have Mike Gesicki and Hunter Henry. There is no chance that Ramondre Stevenson is going to have that many passing attempts this upcoming season, because they've already said that Pierre Strong, who showed out at the end of last year, and this is what Bill Belichick does every single time. He gets these guys in the third round, fourth round, and he makes them sit as a rookie until the end of the year, gets them a little bit more involved at the end of the year, and then the next year he makes them a lot more featured in the offense. That's exactly what happened with Pierre Strong, who was he's a better pass catcher than Ramondre Stevenson, in my opinion. So if Ramondre Stevenson is not going to get a lot of third down usage, he's not getting a lot of rushing attempts as well. People are valuing him at that RB7 that he finished as last year, and I think that is his ceiling. Again, there's no chance that he's going to have 88 targets yet again. He's a good pass catcher, don't get me wrong. Again, very good player, but I think that the volume numbers that people are projecting on him are taking into account a Joe Judge and Matt Patricia offense, where Bill O'Brien traditionally doesn't dump off to the running back position as much in general. Then you add in someone like a Pierre Strong, Juju Smith-Schuster, all the other competition for targets in this offense. And this offense is going to be unlike what we've expected or anything like we've seen in the last couple of years for New England. So Ramondre, Mango Habanero, he's not going to finish as a top 12, and he's being overvalued right now.
I love that, and I think the biggest thing is that he's not going to get the target share.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't get the target share, like I don't think there's any way he's going to be a running back 7 at least.
Right.
At the very least. So I think it's going to be interesting to see what they do. I think they're going to be more pass heavy, and I think Juju is going to get the ball quite a bit. Hunter Henry is too. So I think that leaves some targets out for Stevenson. So
yeah,
kind of the odd man out at that point.
One other thing too with this take, last year, one thing we know about Bill Belichick, categorically, he hates fumbles. He hates fumbles.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Ramondre Stevenson, through 2 years, only 29 games through the last 2 years, has 6 fumbles. 6. He had 4 last season. He's probably like 1 or 2 fumbles away from just being completely cut off this team. And people say, oh, that's crazy. There's a player, Noah Gray. You remember Noah Gray?
Yes, I do.
Noah Gray, he came out for the New England Patriots, and he had like 200 yards in a game. He was a flash in the pan, was a great player, very, very efficient. Came out and had back-to-back fumbles in 2 games, and he was cut. Bill Belichick does not play.
He was never seen again.
Yeah, exactly.
He was never seen again.
Yep. So Bill Belichick does not play that game, and if Ramondre Stevenson cannot get a handle on the ball, he's gonna get replaced. Like, they just will not play that with this offense. So it's a bold take, but I feel confident with it.
I love it. I do.
All right, so the last one we're going to give here is a mango habanero is what we just did. We're going to do a Carolina Carolina Reaper takeout here, the spicy of the spiciest. So what is your 3-star here? What are you giving us?
Yes, it's going to be in fuego for a lot of people. I was unfortunately in on the Denver Broncos last year with Hackett and Russell Wilson. And I thought that offense was gonna. Yeah, I was a fool. I was sipping the tea. I was drinking the Kool-Aid. I was doing all.
No one else did it, so it's just you.
Yeah, it was just me apparently. So I believe my guy Cortland Sutton going to be the Mike Thomas Sean Payton offense. He's going to finish as a wide receiver.
All right, let's hear it.
I feel that, yeah, he's the same size as Michael Thomas, and
Okay,
there's is one of the things. Like, I mean, Judy is kind of that same size, but I think I feel with Cortland Sutton, like he's been watching a lot of Michael Thomas tape, and there's been a lot of smoke in that he's going to play that role, and and even though his numbers last year weren't super good, like he was, I mean, in PPR leagues he was wide receiver 43. This the year before wide receiver 44, but that was coming off a major knee injury. You know, and his numbers game wise last year wasn't super great, but that offense was trash. It
yep,
was horrific to watch. I think like 50% of their drives was either a punt, like either a 3 and out or a punt, something like that. It was horrific last
it was not.
year. It was very bad. And I think Cortland Sutton can be that PPR guy. I know there's a lot of people thinking that Jerry Judy's going to be that guy and he's this route tactician, but so far in the NFL, he really hasn't showed that.
Sure,
And Tim Patrick's coming off an ACL injury, so he's going to start a little slow.
for sure.
They got KJ Hamler, who is always injured. Then they have Greg Dulcich, who's a tight end, and we can't rely on tight ends here in fantasy. So, so I think the guy in this offense is going to be Cortland Sutton, and he's going to be catching pass after pass after pass. I don't think he's going to break any records like Michael Thomas did with Drew Brees, by any means. But
Sure.
I think he's going to finish as a wide receiver one, and he's probably going to have over 100 catches. He's going to have 1,500 yards, double-digit touchdowns. I think it's going to be his year, and I need to try to get him in leagues while he's still cheap.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's an interesting take for sure.
Yeah.
You told me that before the show, and I was like, whoa, yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty
I know.
spicy, pretty
I know.
spicy.
I
You
know. It,
cannot
it, it is very, very spicy.
you can't complain too much about that. And I was just gonna pull
Oh,
up the stats at the end of last year for the top 12. Do Matt Amari Cooper 10. So it was Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase was number 12. Such a good
because he
player.
was injured.
Yeah, no, he didn't play
He,
only 13 games, but he had 134 targets. And the reason why I was bringing this up was I wanted to compare it to what Cortland Sutton did actually last year, right? So Jamar Chase, 134 targets, 87 catches. Cortland Sutton last year, 109 targets, 64 catches. 1,000 yards for Jamar Chase, 1,046, 834 Cortland Sutton. Biggest difference here, 9 touchdowns for Jamar Chase, 2 touchdowns for Cortland Sutton. It's definitely not insane to if Cortland Sutton is the guy.
it's really not, because I think they're going to be a little bit more pass heavy,
Yep,
and so it's with that, targets go up, his
yep,
receptions go up,
yep.
yards go up, and their offense was so bad that they are going to score more touchdowns, and if some of them go Sutton's way, fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, if you look at the options, Jerry Jeudy is not really the touchdown guy, like you said.
He's not.
Um, last year he did have 6, which was impressive. He really started to show it at the end of the season, though. I mean, it helps when he had 3 against Kansas City in one game. So, there's that piece of it. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what exactly happens with the target distribution. A lot of people are high on Tim Patrick, but again, we've seen it time and time again that coming off an ACL tear, it takes you a
It's
while.
tough.
Yeah, especially for
Tough.
these receivers to get back to where they were. And, look at Chris Godwin. I would say Chris Godwin's a better receiver than Tim Patrick. Pretty safe to say. And he didn't start to feel like himself until around like week 15 or 16 of last year.
Right.
And he's much
Yep.
younger than Tim Patrick. Tim Patrick's 29. So, it's going to be interesting to see how the target distribution is. But you just completely snubbed my guy, Samaje Perine, on this
I
round.
know. I know I did.
he's going to be the number one wide receiver for the team probably.
There we go. Probably so, but here we go.
No, I like it. I do like it. So let us know your thoughts. If you think it's going to be Judy, I mean, everyone is drafting it like it's going to be Judy, but
I know that.
There's still a real chance that Jerry Judy is traded. I mean, of the two, right? Courtland Sutton and Jerry Judy, who's got more trade value? If you're
Jerry Judy does all day.
Exactly. So, some of these camp injuries start to hit here, or just camps, and these teams start to see that their receiving core is not where they want it to be. Jerry Judy's on the block. All right, maybe we'll throw our 2024 first round in there for him and see where it goes. But no, it's a bold take, and I like it. I really like it. All right, my Carolina Reaper take, my bold take. Dale thought this one was pretty good, so we'll see what you guys think. You can let me know. Kyle Pitts is going to finish as the tight end number 1 this upcoming season. That's my bold take. It's bold, right? So
That's very, very bold. Yes.
So you look at it last year, right? And tight end number 1, pretty much every year, Travis Kelce, 34 years old going into the season. So we're going to see, is he still going to be able to continue at that elite pace? My answer is probably yes. I think Travis Kelce is going to be the number 2 tight end probably this upcoming season.
Probably.
If I had to put money on it. But you look at his stats, right? 152 targets. That's the highest of his career. I don't think that's going to continue, right? But even if you go back a couple years, in 2019, 136 targets was all he needed to get the tight end number 1 in that season. Now, there are more top-end tight ends than there were probably in 2019, so it's up the bar a little bit there, but you're talking around 140 targets probably gets you the amount of receptions and yardage and everything that you're looking for an elite tight end. The problem is he had 12 touchdowns last year, 9 the year before, 11 the year before that, and Kyle Pitts has not had that so far. Well, Kyle Pitts last year, let me talk about Kyle Pitts here specifically. Rookie season, I feel like people forget what he did his rookie year. Number 4 overall pick comes in as 110 targets with a very bad, in my opinion, Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan, we saw last year, was very exposed. He's not a good quarterback. He's okay, but he's not good, especially at his age. We saw that in Indianapolis. There is a reason why Atlanta was willing to eat a $50 million dead cap to get rid of Matt Ryan for a 3rd-round pick. He wasn't a great quarterback anymore, but he was serviceable. We'll say that, right? Well, you go from Matt Ryan, who gave him 110 targets, 68 catches as a rookie for 1,000 yards. Very good numbers. Only 1 touchdown. Last year, he only played 10 games. They kind of shut him down at the end of the year. Could have come back, but they were not really competing for anything. Literally at the end of the year, Arthur Smith was trying to run out the clock until Desmond Ridder came into the game, but Kyle Pitts was still gone. Would have been nice to have those two together to kind of see some of the tendencies there. But you look at this offense, you have Bijan Robinson now. You still have Cordero Patterson. You have Tyler Algier in the run game. Everyone expects this to be a run-first team. But you look at Desmond Ridder's stats from last year, and when he came into the game, everyone is expecting them to, they're only going to pass 7 times a game like they did with Mariota. Mariota was cooked, man. He was absolutely cooked.
Garbage, hot garbage.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, Desmond Ridder came in, and they were averaging 29 pass attempts per game. 29. Compared to Mariota, who was just absolutely terrible. I don't even want to pull up his stats, but I'm pretty sure I looked at it a couple months ago. He was averaging around 21 to 22 attempts a game. So in 4 games with Desmond Ridder, they upped that by 8 extra passing attempts per game. Now, the other weapons, again, everyone thinks this is going to be a run-first team. They have Drake London. They have Mac Hollins, who is a good outside wide receiver. They have Kyle Pitts, Scotty Miller. Not an amazing receiving core. Good, not elite, right? Kyle Pitts is the elite in this offense. They added Jonnu Smith for a 7th-round pick. This offense is going to run through the run game and Desmond Ridder and, Drake London and Kyle Pitts. I think that Kyle Pitts is going to have probably around 135 to 145 targets at the end of this year. He's going to have probably around 100 catches, maybe 70 to 80, somewhere. If he's a little less efficient, we'll see how that kind of goes with Desmond Ridder. But he's definitely going to break 1,000 yards this upcoming season. I'm very confident in saying that. And I do believe they're going to utilize him near the red zone a little bit more. Maybe he's not going to have 12 touchdowns, but he can definitely get to 7 or 8. All of a sudden, going from tight end number 33 to tight end number 1 is very, very doable. So I know it's a very bold take, but I do believe,
I love it.
Yeah, I think people forget that he had over 1,000 yards as a rookie. He finished his rookie season as tight end number 6 with 1 touchdown. Dude was a monster, and it's just...
He was insane.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate because last year Mariota was so bad that it just tainted this entire... Drake London's not getting docked at all. Why are we not docking Drake London, but we're docking Kyle Pitts? So
Right.
Yeah, that's my Carolina Reaper take, is that Kyle Pitts is going to be tight end number 1 overall. Let me hear your thoughts.
I definitely, I love that. I mean, Travis Kelce's reign has to end sometime. It does. But I think it's the biggest thing is that I know when Arthur Smith was OC in Tennessee that offense really sang with the running game and really punched you in the mouth. Having those effective pass catchers.
Right.
With AJ Brown was there, Jonnu Smith was there. Which I find it ironic that Jonnu's back, but
right.
That's beside the point.
Jonnu's a good blocker though. He's a very good blocker,
but I feel anything has to be better than what Kyle Pitts experienced last year with Marcus Mariota.
Yep.
And with that, like I think there was multiple occasions where like Kyle Pitts was like wide open down the field and Mariota just missed him. Plain out missed him. And that could have been a big play that would have bumped him up, even missing those 7 games to wide or to tight end like 25 probably.
Yep.
In all honesty. So, I don't think it's as crazy as people think. And even though they're gonna be a run-based team, they're still gonna have to throw the ball. And I don't project them probably throwing as much as they did at the end of the year, having the averaging 29 passes a game.
29's pretty low still though. I know continuing, to be honest with you, because
I mean I could see 25, which that's not much less.
Yeah,
that's
but
not much less.
I think the
but
NFL
still.
average last year was around 32, like the average.
Yeah,
so they were still below average. So I think people think 29. They're like, oh, that's a lot, but it's actually still below average, but it's a lot more than what Mariota was doing because he was just that bad.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
well, in two, Mariota was more of a run first read guy compared to Ridder
he just wasn't accurate either. He was just so
bad. He just wasn't. Yeah, it was just a bad mix. So I don't think it's crazy for Kyle Pitts to finish tight end 1, but I think there's a lot of mouths to feed in that offense for him to get that.
Sure.
In my opinion.
We'll see. We will see. I mean, yeah, we would have to see a big step forward from Desmond Ridder, and I do believe that he is capable of that. I mean, in 4 games, he had 115 attempts. You multiply that out, and he's got about 500 attempts on the season. That's not too shabby, to be honest with you. It's not too shabby. So it's just going to be a big impact. Again, he did all of that without Kyle Pitts at the end of last year. So there's no saying whether or not he's going to be able to increase that number. Maybe if they had Kyle Pitts, they would have, instead of 29, they would have been closer to the league average of like 32, right? So it's entirely possible. But, we're kind of wish casting on that because we don't actually know. Yeah. But, yeah, it's a bold take, I will say.
It is. Absolutely.
All right, so that is our bold offseason takes, and we're going to be back here later this week with a couple other episodes. What were the other episodes we were doing this week? We're going to be doing breakout candidates and, I had it written down here.
Yeah, we got breakout candidates and...
Oh, yeah, Smoke or Fire. Yeah,
Smoke or Fire with good old camp reports, because those are always a lot of smoke and a lot of coach speak.
Yeah, yep,
so
exactly.
It's always fun.
Yep. So we're going to be back later this week. Again, if you're on the audio only version, while you're there, leave a like, subscription, whatever you can. But please come over to the YouTube channel, check out the new graphics. My wife was very excited for this. So, let her know down in the comments down below. Helps us with the podcast, gets us in the algorithm, and gets us out there to more people. And a lot more people have been watching and checking out the podcast lately. If you've made it this far, thank you very much for listening to our thoughts so far. And we really do appreciate you guys. We're trying to get this podcast out to more people. Just a couple guys trying to have some fun, talk some fantasy football. Last thing I want to bring up too quickly before we get out of here. I was actually talking to someone I know yesterday, very, very experienced sports bettor. So, we were talking a little bit about some of the content we could possibly be doing in season. And I'm going to be talking to him and seeing if maybe in season we could be having a weekly, some best bets for some football related content.
Love that.
I know he's betting a lot of baseball right now, and they've got it down to a science. So honestly, and
Love
I know DFS is kind of it's a shell game, right? Of, this guy's good, but this guy's bad. He opened my eyes to a lot of stuff yesterday, and it was incredible to talk to him. So we'll see if I can get that set up in the actual season. Maybe a weekly, 20, 30-minute show where we just go through some bets for the week, and I'll put some actual money on the line. You guys can track it with us. But I think that's some of the content that I'm going to be trying to push for this upcoming season. But if that's something that you're interested in, let us know down below, or on Twitter. And I'd love to, make sure that we're doing it in a responsible way where we're kind of conveying things that are helpful for you guys as well. So let us know your thoughts. Again, tell the podcast to one of your friends. Just helps us grow. And we do appreciate you guys helping us out with that. That said, I'm going to throw over to the intro screen. You can see our new logo over here. I love it quite a bit. Incorporates kind of some of the stuff. My wife is really good at this, man. It's crazy. She threw all this stuff together. I was like, what the hell, man? What have I been doing for the last 2 years? I didn't know you had these capabilities. I'm just sitting here for 2 years doing all this stuff. But, let her know your thoughts down below. Give her some love. I appreciate her. So let us know if you do too. So that said, thank you guys so much for joining us. Until next time, have a good night.